And as we all know, climate change is a key challenge of our time. It strongly affects agriculture, and it strongly affects the ability to produce enough food in the future. But it also affects the possibility to reduce the almost 800 million hungry in the world. And I think that the fact that so many people today suffer from hunger is an unacceptable high figure in a world which has resources to feed everybody. Another challenge that we need to address is that agriculture at the same time is a large emitter of greenhouse gases. And the effects of climate change, such as extreme weather conditions, as Jakob mentioned, hits poor people in developing countries the hardest. And they are to a large extent dependent on agriculture, on forestry and fisheries for their livelihoods and food security. But they have little possibilities to adapt their agriculture. And FAO's work to assist developing countries to build resilience for changed climate is therefore very important. Climate change could also cause conflicts over increasingly scarce land and natural resources. And according to FAO, access to and use of natural resources are key sources of conflict and could lead to increased migration in the world. The impacts of climate change are global and they must be solved together. Rich countries, we have a responsibility to help poor countries, and Sweden's engagement in the Green Climate Fund and the Least Developed Countries Fund continues to be strong. And one of the prioritized areas for the government's development cooperation will continue to be long-term support to the sustainable use of natural resources. Another area is the sustainable management of ecosystem services, including coastal and marine areas. And a third area is sustainable land use. However, we must all contribute to lower greenhouse gas emissions and to solve the challenge of a growing global food demand. The Swedish government is also working on a national scale to improve the possibilities for Swedish agriculture to develop and increase sustainable food production. And a key element is to provide conditions and opportunities for farmers to develop their production so that they can be competitive on the global arena while providing sustainable produced products. And my firm view is that Sweden has a responsibility as well as a possibility to contribute, and that we should make use of the national potential for food production. As Jakob mentioned, I'm also speaking on behalf of the Swedish FAO Committee, of which I am the chair. And the committee has representatives from civil society, the private sector, interest organizations, and academia. And the task of the FAO Committee is to assist the government in its work for food security, while taking account of global development and the sustainable use of agriculture, fisheries, and forestry. It is also to spread knowledge about and raise interest in Sweden in the work of FAO. And the committee each year publishes a discussion paper relating to areas within FAO's field of mandate. And this year, the report focuses on the role of livestock for food security, nutrition, and a sustainable food production. And livestock is vital for the livelihoods of poor people in many developing countries, not least for women. And the report also highlights the negative effects of livestock production and how they can be reduced. Sustainable agriculture development and the role of livestock will also be the theme of the meeting of the Committee on World Food Security, CFS, and they have their meeting in Rome next week. And within CFS, Global food security is discussed between governments, between UN organizations, the civil society and the private sector. And this means that measures taken for reduced hunger by the international community will be coordinated and therefore more effective. And I'm really looking forward to participate in this important forum, and a couple of other members of the FAO committee will also join me in Rome. I would like to conclude by saying that we have a very interesting program here today to share. Unfortunately, I won't have the possibility to stay, but I sort of envy you for having this opportunity to listen to many interesting speakers and have the opportunity to discuss relevant and burning issues. I think it will demonstrate how Swedish stakeholders are trying to find solutions to these challenges, and it can be seen as a contribution to our responsibility to implement the 2030 agenda.